1. Hercules defeats Acheloüs to win Deïanira. Theseus, hero favored by Neptune, began the river Calydon. You inquire why you sigh and why your brow bears scars. It is a weighty tale to recount, for few are eager to recall their defeats. Yet, I shall unfold it for you. There is no shame in being bested. It is the struggle itself that carries honor, even if it concludes in defeat. And to confront such a formidable adversary brings its own consolation. Perhaps you are familiar with Deïanira. Once she was the fairest of maidens, coveted by many suitors, including myself and Alcides. We both sought her hand. Alcides boasted of his lineage as the son of Zeus and recounted his heroic labors, performed at the behest of his stepmother. However, I, as a river deity, could not bear to yield to a mortal. I argued that, as a king of rivers coursing through his domain, I was no outsider, but an integral part of his realm. I even questioned his parentage, doubting whether Zeus was truly his father, or if he was born of ignoble origins. As I spoke, he glowered at me, barely containing his wrath. He responded, "I shall let my fists speak for me." With those words, he launched his assault. Reluctant to retreat after my bold statements, I prepared for combat. He hurled dust at me, his skin flushed with exertion. Yet my stature shielded me, rendering his attacks futile. I stood resolute, like a steadfast rock against the crashing waves, unmoved by his onslaught. We clashed once more, our resolve unyielding. Foot pressed against foot, I pressed my chest against his, pushing against his grip with my fingers and forehead. It was akin to witnessing mighty bulls vie for dominance over the most prized mate in the pasture, the herds quivering as they awaited the outcome. Thrice Alcides attempted to dislodge me, but it was on the fourth try that he succeeded, turning me around and seizing my back with his formidable strength. I felt as though a mountain bore down upon me, yet with great effort, I wriggled free from his grasp. He bore down upon me, preventing my recovery, and seized my neck. Eventually, I succumbed, falling to the ground and transforming into a serpent to elude his grip. As I writhed and hissed, Alcides taunted my efforts, reminding me of his triumphs over serpents, including the dreaded Lernaean Echidna with her multitude of heads. Nonetheless, I, Acheloüs, escaped in my serpentine form. Enraged, I metamorphosed into a bull, only to be subdued once more by Alcides, who shattered my horn and tore it from my brow. This horn, adorned with fruits and flowers, was consecrated to the Naiads, enriching the goddess Plenty. As dawn broke and the youths departed, Acheloüs retreated into the waves, concealing his altered form and his lost horn. Though diminished in glory, he remained otherwise unscathed, his wounded head concealed beneath the embrace of willow boughs and reeds.
Nessus' love for the same woman ultimately led to his demise. Pierced through the back by a swift arrow, the centaur lay dying. As the son of Zeus, Hercules journeyed back to his hometown with his newlywed wife, Deïanira. They encountered the raging waters of the river Acheloüs, swollen with winter rains and impassable due to whirlpools. Despite the river's dangers, Nessus, strong and familiar with its currents, offered to carry Deïanira to safety on the opposite bank while Hercules swam across. Fearful of both the river and Nessus, Deïanira paled with terror, but Hercules entrusted her to the centaur. Burdened with his quiver and lion's spoils, Hercules declared the need to cross the stream and plunged into the churning water, refusing to seek a gentler crossing or rely on the river's mercy. Reaching the opposite bank, Hercules retrieved his bow when he heard Deïanira's voice. Seeing Nessus attempting to betray his trust, Hercules confronted the centaur, accusing him of attempted robbery and forbidden advances. Ignoring Nessus' boast about his speed, Hercules wounded him with an arrow as he fled. Blood, laced with the Hydra's deadly poison, flowed from Nessus' wounds. With a final act of vengeance, Nessus offered his bloodied garment to Deïanira, hoping to win her affection, or perhaps her grief. Meanwhile, rumors of Hercules' infidelity with Iole reached Deïanira, causing her distress. Initially weeping in misery, she soon resolved to take action before another woman claimed her husband's love. Contemplating drastic measures, even murder, Deïanira determined to win back Hercules' affections. Her mind is torn between various decisions. Ultimately, Deïanira chooses to send the garment stained with Nessus' blood, hoping it will revive Hercules' fading love. Unaware of the harm she's causing, she entrusts the cause of her own sorrow to the unsuspecting Lichas, instructing him kindly to deliver this fatal gift to her husband. Oblivious, Hercules accepts it, placing the poisoned garment on his shoulders as he offers prayers and sacrifices. As the venom heats up and spreads over his body, Hercules tries to endure the pain, but eventually succumbs, crying out in agony and tearing down the altars. He attempts to remove the deadly garment, but it tears away his skin, sticking to his limbs or exposing his mangled flesh and bones. His blood hisses and boils from the burning poison, while flames consume his insides and his sweat runs cold. His muscles crack, and the poison dissolves his marrow, leaving him in excruciating pain. Desperate, Hercules appeals to Philoctetes, son of Saturn, begging for relief from his suffering or for a merciful death. He reflects on his past feats, questioning the existence of the gods in the face of his current torment. Meanwhile, the renowned Hercules, son of Zeus, fells trees from Mount Aeta and builds a funeral pyre. He instructs Philoctetes to fetch his bow, quiver, and arrows, destined once again for the Trojan lands. With Philoctetes' help, he sets fire to the pyre and lies down upon it, covered with the Nemean lion's skin, as if reclining at a feast among friends. As the flames engulf him, roaring and spreading, the gods watch in concern for their protector of the earth. However, Zeus reassures them, expressing his delight in Hercules' accomplishments and his pride as the father of such a valiant hero. He declares that Hercules, having conquered all else, will overcome the flames as well, except for the mortal part inherited from his mother. Zeus promises to welcome Hercules' immortal part, born of Zeus himself, into the celestial realms, confident that all the gods will approve of this divine honor, even if some may initially resist. The gods agreed with Zeus's plan. While Hercules' wife seemed to accept most of his words, she showed displeasure at the implication that she, Alcmene, was the source of his mortality. Meanwhile, Hephaestus consumed everything susceptible to fire, leaving Hercules' figure unrecognizable. He bore no resemblance to his mortal form or his mother's features, retaining only the immortal traits of Zeus. As a serpent sheds its old skin and emerges rejuvenated, Hercules shed his mortal body and ascended in his ethereal form, appearing more majestic and venerable. The Almighty Father, surrounded by clouds, lifted him up among the shining stars in his chariot drawn by 4 steeds.